Alright guys, your essential question for today is how do we use trigonometry to find the measures of the sides of right triangles? Your vocabulary is angle of depression and angle of elevation, and you will have a quiz over this material at a later time. This is actually the second part of the same lesson that we covered yesterday, and for today we're just going to be looking at one problem in particularly. And here's the example. It says a statue 20 feet high stands on top of a base. So if I were to envision this, if you could imagine that there's a statue, so we got a statue there, something, and it sits on top of, we're just going to call this a base. This reminds me of the Vulcan in Birmingham. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Pretty good statue. Alright, it says a statue 20 feet high. So we know that the statue itself is 20 feet high. And it stands on top of a base. Now we have no idea how high the base is, so let's just call that Y. It says from a point in front of the statue, so have no idea where it is, but let's just say this point right here. It says the angle of elevation to the top of the statue, so looking straight up at the guy's head, this angle is 48 degrees. So that's the angle of elevation from the top of the statue. It says, and the angle of elevation to the bottom of the statue, so from that same point, so to the bottom of that statue, is 42 degrees. So this little angle right here is the 42 degrees. The bigger angle is 48 degrees. It says, how tall is the base? So we want to know what the value of Y is. Well, if you notice, I've got two triangles, so let's see if we can set up some trig ratios to help me solve this. Now, I don't know how far away this point is from the base, so I'm just going to call that X. And obviously, since I've got from these angles opposites and adjacents, I'm going to use tangent as my trig ratio. So tangent, let's do the big one first, 48 degrees. So tangent of 48 degrees would be opposite, would not just be the 20, but would be 20 plus however big the base is. So that would be 20 plus Y over adjacent, well, that would be X. Alright, the smaller triangle, so there's my tangent of 42 degrees is equal to opposite, so Y over X. Hey, this looks familiar to that problem we did yesterday. I'm going to put both of these over 1, and I'm going to cross multiply both of them. So that's going to give me X tangent of 48 degrees is equal to 20 plus Y. And over here, it's going to give me X tangent of 42 degrees is equal to Y. Well, this equation on the right is equal to Y. This one's not. I can quickly get it equal to Y by moving this positive 20 over to the other side. So that'll give me X tangent of 48 degrees minus 20 is equal to Y. Well, now that both of these equations are set equal to Y, I'm going to set them equal to each other. So X tangent of 48 degrees minus 20 is equal to X tangent of 42 degrees. I notice there's an X on either side, so what I'm going to do to help me with my signs, I'm going to move this negative 20 over to the right, and I'm going to move this X tangent of 42 over to the left. So that'll give me X tangent of 48 degrees minus X tangent of 42 degrees equals to positive 20. Now that they have the X on the same side, I can factor that out, take the X out, and I get tangent of 48 degrees minus tangent of 42 degrees is equal to 20. To solve this for X, I'm going to divide by this long expression. I know it's pretty long and it looks rough, but remember your calculator can handle this, so don't worry about it. That crosses out, so that just leaves me X is equal to whatever the value of 20 divided by tangent of 48 degrees minus tangent of 42 degrees is. And I'll go ahead and tell you that that is equal to 95.144. So we're talking about 95 feet. Now don't get too excited because that's not your answer. That 95.144 feet is only the distance from the point to the base. We want to know what the actual height of the base is. Well, that's the value of Y. Well, if you notice, I can use this formula, X tangent 42 degrees equals to Y, because we know what X is now. X, off to the side, X is 95.144 feet, so we're going to times that by tangent of 42 degrees, and that's going to give us our value for Y, which will end up being 85.668 feet. So about 85.5 feet. Now, that's kind of weird if you ask me, since the base is actually bigger than the statue, but you know what? I made this problem up, and it just worked out this way. But anyway, that's it for today.